Hello, strangers, and welcome back. I'm Shae.
And I'm Landrey.
And this is Sisters of the Strange.
Woohoo!
Woo! You already knew that, though. I have just a little thing. This is going to probably come. This has been going on for the last couple of weeks now. But apparently there was a double murder in Devil's Den, Arkansas, in like a state park. And they've been like on a manhunt for this man. There was a trail cam photo of him from behind. And he looked super creepy. They also had their 2 daughters with them, but the daughters were not hurt or injured. Just the parents.
Oh, okay, yeah, I have seen that then.
This was just literally last week.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that.
There was a composite sketch done of this man, and they've found him, they've captured him, and he is creepy looking.
Good.
That's him.
Has he said his motive yet?
I don't think so. But I just wanted to bring it up because, so first of all, he's 28 years old. His name is James McGann. And he was arrested on Wednesday, which was literally yesterday, at a barbershop in Springdale, Arkansas, not Springfield.
Yeah.
30 miles from the state park after 5 days of searching. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because, you know, we like when things are full circle. He was a teacher in Louisville from 2022 to 2023. Yeah. So they reached out to the ISD and said that he was placed on administrative leave in 2003 following concerns related to classroom management, professional management, and student favoritism. Although the district said that there was an investigation on him, but they found no evidence of inappropriate behavior with students. But he resigned from Louisville May of 2023.
I guess that makes sense why he didn't hurt the children.
Yeah. But this story just popped up on my Facebook. It said the suspect in the Arkansas hiking murders used to be a teacher at a North Texas school. And I was like, oh.
And I think the other part of that was our first episode. Was that the same Devil's Den?
Yes. Yes, in Arkansas. You talked about it.
I know I remember Devil's Den, but I remember there being multiple, so I didn't remember exactly.
You had mentioned one in Arkansas.
Yeah, there was a lot because there's also like the Devil's Den that had to do with Gettysburg and everything. Yes. So I remember there was multiple, so I didn't remember exactly which one I talked about.
Yeah, I think that was the first one that you mentioned.
Okay, wow.
But anyway,
then full circle, multiple ways.
Yes. Yeah, just murdered him. I'm ready to hear the details of the story.
Yeah, I want to know if maybe those were like some of his students or something weird or something.
I don't know.
Like why he would just do that.
Yeah.
Or if they were like all camping at the same spot and the parents kept messing with him or something.
I don't know.
I did see.
He looked like he's been going through it.
Yeah, I did see there was a girl who she like camps alone a lot and didn't really, she like kind of told people she was camping alone because like on TikTok, most of the people in the comments were like, girl, why did you let them know you were there alone?
Yeah.
But she has like a truck and then it's just a camper bed on the back of it. So the only way she can get into her truck is to leave her camper to get into her truck. And she was like camping or something somewhere. And there was like a young couple. And she was like, I wasn't really nervous because they were like a younger couple. They didn't really like seem scary, I guess. And then she said that they kept coming back to where she was. And she was like, hey, you know, like what's going on? And he was like, oh, well, we lost a ring. And she's like, oh, well, I guess give me your number and I'll text you if I find it. I'm going to be here a couple more days. And he was like, no, you can just hide it in this weird location and we'll come back and find it. And she was like, okay. And then
red flag.
Yeah. But like, she didn't give him her number.
Oh.
But she got into her camper and at like 10 o'clock that night, he texted her. He had found her because her Instagram handle's on the back of her truck. Someone did say, they were like, I could go to your photography page and it had your contact information. So, cause she was like, I don't know how you got my number. And but someone like sleuthed it out.
Yeah.
But then she said she woke up at 2 a.m. cause she could hear stuff walking around her and looked outside and he was like, just like standing outside. And she was like kind of opened her window and was like, what? Like, what's going on? What do you need? And he was like, oh, I fell in the river and needed a towel.
Oh no. No.
And, I guess she scared him off. Like she said, he kind of scurried away after that, but she couldn't get into the cab of her vehicle to leave.
I would have left immediately after that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, but like in the middle, it was like 2 a.m. So are you willing to like run out of your vehicle in the dark to get to your front seat? But
yeah,
also like
he's probably just lurking in the bushes.
Yeah. So what would you
do? Yeah, I'd stay there.
I would probably stay for as long as I could just in my vehicle. And I think she did say she had a firearm, which is good for her. If you're solo traveling, you definitely need to have some sort of protection for sure. But yeah, she said she basically stayed there and was able to leave the next morning. But I'm like, at what point do you feel safe to get in your vehicle?
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, I'd have to really like hype myself up to be like, okay, Randy, I'm going to run. 1, 2,
and hopefully the door's just right there. You know,
yeah.
Because it's the kind of camper that's in the bed of the truck.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no. We are not going into the woods alone. We are not camping alone. Do you hear me?
Well, the number one thing they tell you is like, don't let anyone know you're alone.
Also, yes.
Like,
and I've always also been told like, don't let anybody know when you're going to be leaving your house unaccompanied for...
Yeah, people break in.
Anybody can find that information.
Yeah. Anyways, on to the next topic here.
Anyway.
Yeah, so today I'm finally going to be talking and telling our listener stories, some of them.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's our very first listener story episode. I was holding off because a lot of these can go on different topics that we wanted, and I was going to put them at the end of those, but I just want to tell them.
Yeah.
And I know that people are probably eager
to hear them.
Okay, we've sent them in. Hello.
Yeah.
And so
we've just been waiting. We've been waiting for a compile of them so that we can do. And honestly, for it to be this early, and this isn't even all of them, for it to be this early and us being able to have enough to do a listener episode is so exciting. So y'all keep sending this stuff in.
Yeah, send your stories, your ghost stories, your murder stories. I don't know if you have some crazy story that you've been around because it was in your town or something like that.
Yeah.
Definitely send it to us at sistersofthestrange.podcast@gmail.com.
All right, let's get into it. Yeah.
Let's go. Do you see our Halloween pajamas?
We have Halloween pajamas on. It is about to be August and it is 100 degrees outside and
guess what?
Halloween jams.
Yeah, I literally saw them on TikTok yesterday. I was laying in bed scrolling and I saw them and I said, I'm going to Walmart and I'm buying those right now. I got out of bed, got ready, and then I was like, have some self-restraint. You don't need to go buy all of these. I'm trying to go on a trip this fall, so I'm like trying to be smart about my money. I told myself no Halloween decorations this year, no Christmas decorations. So I was able to hold myself off yesterday, basically.
For one day.
Yeah, and then I left my house today and I was like, well, I passed by Walmart.
So I'm going to go.
Yeah, I did. I went and bought 5 pair.
Walmart, sponsor us. Thank you.
Yes, please. Thank you.
This is not an ad, but it could be.
All right. Listener story number 1. Are we ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay. I just discovered your podcast and I love. I also just finished listening.
Wait.
Yes.
Who's this from?
Oh, I have it at the very end. This is from, I should have asked her how to pronounce her name because I did ask her if it was okay if I used her name in this story. I'm going to go with Yeimy.
Okay.
It's Yeimy.
Okay. Yeimy.
Maybe a different way to spell Amy. I don't know, but I'm going to go with Yeimy.
Okay.
So if it's not, then I am so sorry.
Please help.
Yes, I will correct it. You can send me an email and say, wrong, girl. Fix it. And I will in the next episode. Anyways, I just discovered your podcast and I love. I also just finished listening to your Bloody Mary and Mirrors episode and want to share a story on the topic. It's not my own experience, but I believe it to be true. When I was like 13, I would stay at our neighbor's house after school since my parents wouldn't get home until 5 p.m. Our neighbors lived in an old Victorian home, which they claimed was 100 and something years old. They also had a daughter who was like mid-20s at the time, and she'd be there all the time, and I got along with her pretty well. I've always been into paranormal stuff, which is why I'm happy I discovered your podcast. Anyway, she also liked paranormal stuff and horror movies, so we'd often bond over that. One day, while I was over late, we decided to share stories, and so she shared her story and experience with the Bloody Mary game. She said when she and her brother were teenagers, they'd always had friends over and often dared each other to do dumb things. So one day, they dared her brother to go into the bathroom and play Bloody Mary alone. So he goes into the bathroom, they tell him if he turns the lights on, they won't let him out, so he leaves them off and closes the door. While his sister and their friends are outside of the bathroom, they hear him say Bloody Mary 3 times, then heard nothing for a few seconds before he started yelling and tried pushing the door open. But his sister and friends were all pushing the door shut, thinking he was just playing around. After a while of him screaming, they did let him out and he ran out crying, locked himself in his room, and refused to come out. My neighbor told me he stayed in his room all afternoon, and finally when their parents got home, he decided to come out. He refused to tell his sister or anyone what happened in the bathroom, but after some time, he finally told his sister that he saw a woman in the bathtub and a man in a black suit and a top hat standing next to her, which is when he started yelling to be let out of the restroom. Not too sure if that was Bloody Mary, but my guess is he saw the ghosts of someone who previously lived in that home. Best regards, Yeimy.
Girl, that gave me chills.
That's like Bloody Mary and Hatman together in your bathtub. I would never go in there ever again.
Ever again?
I would poop outside.
Yeah, we're done.
Give me a bucket.
Yeah, we're done. Wow. Bless his heart.
Which I did play Bloody Mary once and nothing happened. I was extremely inebriated.
Yeah.
Which you're not
Supposed
to do. But I don't really think I'm brave enough to do it again.
I think I'm good with all the energy that we be festering up around here.
Yeah, we've had a lot of random stuff happen in here, and somehow I am able to shut it off when I leave out here. I was thinking about that last night.
You just leave it in the cabin.
Well, so I was wondering last night, I'm like, how am I not more scared than I am? Like, we've had quite a few things happen in here that I'm like, why do I not? I'm not nervous at night. I sleep in the dark again. And I used to not sleep in the dark. I used to have some sort of nightlight on. And I'm like, how am I so comfortable? I was way more paranoid before we started the podcast than I am doing the podcast.
We have our own little portal here.
It just stays in here.
It just stays here. When you walk out those doors, it's gone.
Woo! Yeah. So
that's a good story. Oh my God.
You think it was Hatman and Bloody Mary? Do you think it's people who lived there before? It could be like the couple who lived there before.
It could be.
But why would they come on call?
Right, exactly. Because
maybe like,
I wasn't calling
scare
for you.
These kids like Beetlejuice. Have you watched Beetlejuice a long time? How that couple, they're like trying to get them out of their house, so they're trying to do everything to scare them. So it could be something like that. Maybe
could be. I don't know. It's weird that it would conjure up something else other than what you're calling for. Because that's like,
why would Hatman come with Bloody Mary?
Yeah. Now that's a theory.
Do all the evil ghosts hang out?
They hang out and they're like, oh, we got one.
Yeah. It's our time. Like Monsters, Inc. They come through the door.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, I like that.
I've never thought about all of the villains being in one place together.
In one place on the other side. They're like, let's do this one together.
Yeah. Okay, you ready for number 2?
Yes.
New listener that's been binging, first time writer. My experiences with the paranormal have varied, but have recognizable categories: sleep paralysis demons, habitual haunts, family guardian angel visits, premonitions, etc. I can tell you a lot of stories if you're interested.
Yes.
Which I did in the email. I said, interested, like send. But I'm going to start with this one because as a skeptic that has had too many unexplainable things occur, the intention or possibilities of what a mimic is so curious. It seems innately sinister, but other stories indicate it could be a scientific phenomenon, including but not limited to a glitch in the matrix, a time warp, like a wrinkle in the fabric of the concept of time, or the catalyst of some habitual haunting, or if a ghost, it may just want to be part of the world we live in. Ew. Trigger warning for animal abuse in the past, but not described. Like, she doesn't go into full detail. She just mentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, she like really broke it down right there. So whenever I was responding, I was like,
yes.
Hell yeah. Like, I love that you have this for me.
Yes.
Like, I can play off this because I know where we're going with it. So, or not play off of it. I can have different multiple avenues because you're opening my brain up to a lot of different possibilities right now. So after college, circa 2009, 2010, I moved into my ex-boyfriend's house located in a remote part of Virginia in Appalachia country.
Here we go.
He had a dog named Cujo that was over 100 pounds of pure muscle with a bad history. Cujo was abused, possibly a fighting dog. She said any living creature was met with aggression, so I guess by him, and trusted very few humans as historically people allowed or even encouraged this type of behavior.
Oh, sweet angel.
I know. That's how I responded back to her, and I was like, I'm sitting with my dogs right now.
Yeah. Oh, I cry.
I was going to postgraduate school, so I was home when not in class while my ex was working 10-hour days, which meant Cujo and I spent a lot of time together. Since I treated him well, had patience, and generally loved him as any dog, he became loyal to me. My ex never had the time to give him his treatment and patience, so there came a point where Cujo would have such a preference to me that he would not allow my ex and I to get intimate. He would attack my ex for what he perceived as getting physical with me, saying that just to point out how protective this dog was of me. We had a routine. My ex would leave between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m., and I would wake up between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., depending on my classes. Cujo slept at my side of the bed and would not move until I did. When I got up for the day, I would walk down the hall to the kitchen and let him outside. And then she has, in quotes again, being a young, small woman in the middle of nowhere, his aggression was an asset, and he was so protective of me, he would never go far.
Yeah.
So she said I'd open the doggy door so he could come in when he was ready, and I could use the bathroom, watch TV, and start breakfast, or whatever I did with my day. Throughout the day, this dog never left my side. The only time he would ever let space between us is when he would get the zoomies.
Oh.
The stairs that led to the basement created a sort of island on the main floor, especially since the basement door was always closed. The walls encasing the stairs creates a wide column that could be circled, and Cujo and I would chase each other around this column on the regular. We'd pause when we were at the opposite sides, and all I'd have to say is, Cujo, what are you doing? It was all wood floors, which made it hilarious to hear his paws scurry in response. But like a cartoon, he'd be stuck in place for a moment until he got his traction and pop around one of the corners to continue the chase. It was a pretty open house, so one side of this column was the sealed front door, The side kitchen door was the main entry, which connected to the family dining room on one side, the hall on the other side, and the kitchen on the opposite side. Running around this and switching directions to catch each other was his favorite game. One morning with the sun pouring in, just as usual, though maybe even notably a late morning, around 8 or 9, I got up and let Cujo out the kitchen/doggy door. I went back to the hall to the bathroom, and when I came out, Cujo was standing in the kitchen just looking at me. That was strange since he usually came to my side even if I was moving around, so I thought he was playing. Instinctively, I said, "What are you doing?" and he took off in his signature cartoon style. I went the way closest to me to cut him off, but heard his paws scrambling on the wood floors trying to give a better chase, so I ended up making a full circle several times. From the bathroom hall and kitchen to the front past the family room, dining room, over, and eventually ended up back in the kitchen hall when I heard his paws stop running on the opposite side in front of me by the sealed front door because I have been and just saw the back of his body and tail around the corner before hearing his nails slide to a stop on the floor. So I guess that he just went in the opposite direction of her, but she could see his backside, his rear end doing that. She said, obviously he's excited, waiting for more play. So I say, "Cujo, what are you doing?" And there was silence. Weird. So again, but louder, "Cujo, what are you doing?" Nothing. Worried, I just call him knowing he will respond, or if he doesn't, he's in a real emergency. I yell, "Cujo, come." And not even 7 seconds later, Cujo sticks his head through the kitchen doggy door, which is on my far right. He's not playing our game waiting on the opposite side of the house in front of me, as I just saw his body slipping away to. He's still been outside this whole time. Ugh. Looking back, I don't know how I reasoned fast enough that the dog at the doggy door was the right and real Cujo. Mm-hmm. Looking back, of course he was. He came to me when I asked, but I bolted towards him and ran outside. Because of his history, I knew he would attack any person, animal, anything. Yeah. So I lovingly shoved him inside and stood there waiting. He normally picked up on new smells and certainly sensed things. He loved my family, never an issue, but certain friends he had a big problem with. To try to help with introductions of people, we would try taking a walk in the neighborhood and have people either meet up with us on neutral ground or, at the suggestion of my ex, have them at the house upon the return of our walk. Yeah. Without even me knowing that plan nor a car in sight, he would have his hackles raised and start wolfing while just approaching the house. He frequently would wake up out of a dead sleep to listen or sniff around. Sometimes he would track whatever woke him up towards various windows throughout the house and growl or bark. For my own sanity, I reasoned it was a deer moving outside that he had picked up on. But back to this instance, where I forced him into the house, he stood just inside the door, wagging his tail and smiling at me. I said, "Cujo, get it." He stopped smiling, tilted his head, kind of checked behind him for a toy, but knew I hadn't done my part to throw anything. Mm-hmm. He started smiling and sat like a good boy, waiting to be praised by me. I needed him to get further into the house to check for my safety, so I said, "Cujo, go." He again stopped smiling, tilted his head as if processing my command, and walked in a circle, then laid down to wait for me. I realized he wasn't going to leave where he couldn't see me, so I came back inside and had him walk the circle of the basement stairs to the front where I saw the not him go, and all the way back around. Nothing out of place. He didn't even put his nose to the ground, unless I tapped my foot like I do when I drop some food, but he quickly could determine I was lying. He just stood next to me, panting, smiling like normal when I would stop. Now, to be fair, I didn't feel anything off or a presence like being watched despite my attempts to figure it all out. I would 1000% trust that dog with my life, and he showed no concern, but I know what I saw. It was broad daylight. I was awake. It wasn't like I was somehow still dreaming. My insistence of this experience and others to my ex is a part of what led to our breakup. Oh. Side note, friends do not settle for someone that invalidates your experiences. Ooh. If a non-believer cares about you, they still believe what you believe. Your experience happened and would have compassion as if it actually did occur. Period. Yeah, I agree. Yes. So over a decade and a half later, long after Cujo has passed, I still don't know what that was. It's not a ghost. Cujo wasn't at rest then. Demons do take on other forms, but nothing felt nefarious. Maybe a mimic, but it only happened that one time and never again. Maybe there were such strong emotions, joy, comfort, and security tied to that habit that we created some sort of ghost. Maybe it was some other wrinkle in the fabric of reality or a glimpse of an alternate dimension explainable by science. We just don't know yet. I hope to hear this right on the show one day because I'm interested to hear what you and others think. What was it? If you think it was a mimic, does this change your opinion on them and their intentions? Is it possible evil mimic encounters are actually demons tricking us and true mimics are neither good nor evil? Ooh. If you believe in habitual hauntings, could they be created even before death, which is why that ritual is so strong? Oh. Or could it be science and alternate dimensions of time is all a construct we don't know enough about yet? Stay awesome. Thank you for your awesome content. Love you guys. Jenna. Jenna! One, freaking love the dog attachment. Like, just
oh my God, it made me want to cry. Times. First of all, thanks, Jenna.
Yeah. Little Dog's not, like, Little Dog is attached to me, but Biggie is like, everything I do, Biggie is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is just such a comfort to have your pal.
Yeah. And to have such a routine and like a dog who's been so hurt to love you so much.
You're a good person.
Yeah. That says a lot about your character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting. I don't even remember what I responded to her email. I think I responded to every question like, it could be this because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it did bring up a interesting thing about mimics. Like,
yeah, that gave me chills. That question she said about they're neither good nor evil.
Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
Because they are just tricksters at the end of the day, which doesn't mean that they are good nor evil.
I don't feel that it was a mimic. I feel like it was possibly more some sort of like wrinkle in the time fabric type. Like that's the vibe that I'm getting from that.
Yeah.
Especially since there was no other feeling.
Yeah, no reaction
except
from
that
Cujo
initial reaction.
Yeah.
But from the dog, nothing. Like that just, they
and
know.
They know. Yeah.
They know.
I agree. Because dogs do. They feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Like they let you know that something was up.
Yeah.
And Cujo didn't react to it at all. So I definitely agree with that. I think it's interesting. Sorry, I had a hard time reading that. That was kind of a struggle.
Jenna, that was a great story.
Yeah, you wrote very well. I just my brain moves really fast, so I'm reading like 3 words ahead. So then I am trying to say the word that I'm not at yet. Like, my brain just doesn't work like that. Yeah, I really do.
Send us more of your experiences. Apparently you have many. I would like to hear them.
What does interest me is how she's like, I kind of just wrote off the deer. It was a deer outside that he would track all the time. I'm like, what was he tracking?
What was he actually tracking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number 3, this one. This one's interesting to me as well.
Ooh.
These are all very interesting, actually. But this one, this is the one that I messaged you, and I was like, "There's some weird something going on in the universe." Because I messaged you that, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did, because I was like, "What is going on?" Because in this last like week, I had posted, should I go on a fall trip or should I go on a winter trip? And my 2 best friends from like daycare and elementary school that I don't really talk to.
Yeah.
Randomly, like once a year, maybe. But they were my childhood best friends. Both of them messaged me in the same day. And I was like, what's that about?
Yeah.
Like, that's weird. Which one of them was, she was messaging that she listens to the podcast and loves it. So hello, hi. But the other one just was commenting on my trip because she lives in New York. So,
oh yeah.
So it was like, whatever. Either way, same day, I was like, what is that? And then the very next day, my Facebook memory from like 14 years ago showed up, and it was a picture of us 3 together. The very next day.
So
and
strange.
I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, what is the universe doing?
What is going on? So then for this person, every person that emailed, I emailed back and was like, hey, I will let you know when or in what episode your story will be on so you can listen. And I asked like if I can use your name or not. And for her, I had responded on my thoughts for her email. And I don't believe that I asked her if I could use her name or anything. I was going to wait till she responded and then ask, because I hadn't decided to like do a full episode yet. And the day that I was putting all of this together to come record, she had emailed me and was like, by the way, you can use my name. And whenever you emailed me back, she said, I don't know if it was like, she said, I felt like my spirits were happy that you emailed me back. And it just felt very like, it was very, I don't know, it felt like very like paranormal to me, I guess, or like clairvoyant to me that she knew that I was like going to ask if I could use her. Like that was my next email, but I was waiting for her to respond back. Yeah. And then she answered it without me having to say anything. And it had been like a week, or not even, it's probably been like a month since I had emailed her back in the first place.
There was some kind of alignment there.
Yeah. And that same day that I was going to do that, it was just strange. I was like, and I even emailed her that. I was like, girl, listen, what the hell? Yeah. Like, what is this? So anyways, she says, hey girls, I rarely email, so apologies in advance for how this email will be laid out. I am a writer, but not a great one yet. I'm a new fan of your podcast, and after hearing you two speak about all these stories and how you constantly implore people to email your stories, honestly, I don't think my story is going to be all as detailed as any of your other fans, since I know my memory is crap, which she actually gets very detailed. She does very well. So
let's go,
don't doubt yourself.
Yeah.
But she said, I'm not old. I just have a crud memory. Haha. Girl, same. Same. Anyways, when I was in high school and around 13 to 15 years old, these experiences spanned across 2 to 3 years of my high school years. First set of hauntings was by a spirit I named Jeffrey. At the time, I didn't believe highly in ghosts, but I wasn't against them either. I was just busy learning how to exist at the time. First time I saw him, he was mostly a shadow. It was as I was in a phone call with a previous friend from that time, and I ended up hanging up since she was getting fed up with my gasping and getting scared. First spirit and first experience with Jeffrey is when he walked by my window. He revealed himself in a black suit with a top hat. Second time was himself as a young child around 8 years old, and the third time was as a teenager around 16 years old. I then saw his aura while going down the hallway a couple months afterwards, but it was through the guest room window and not mine. It had a beautiful sunlight glow, and it was just gorgeous. It felt like I was getting a peek at what he was really like. I realized he was a good spirit, and I still talk as if he is here with me. Last time he made himself known was a couple months later when my support worker and I were being sarcastic and rude to each other. She said something that made him react. I had put a corn jack, which is a stick of fried creamed corn, on my desk. It was on the desk and quite far back, so it didn't just fall off. The second she finished her sentence at me, he made it fly directly at her stomach. Thankfully, he didn't have much power, so it barely touched her, but we both saw it and were in shock for a second. Then we could feel that he was as shocked at what he did as we were. Then we burst into laughter and together put it behind us. This was the last time I knew for a fact it was Jeffrey that did it. My second experience, oh my good Lord, I can't read. My second spirit and first experience. See, that's what I'm telling you that I read 5 words ahead.
My favorite is spirit.
Spirit. Yeah, it's because I keep going to say experience. And so I'm saying spirit and experience at the same time. Spirit. So my second spirit and first experience with this specific spirit was, well, scary at the least, but not as bad as the third. Trust me on that. So I was going home when I was about to get to a crossing to turn onto a hill that leads up to the streets to where I live. I was racing home as I usually do when I heard leaves being crunched underneath someone's shoes. I'm a wheelchair user who doesn't love the sound of crunching leaves, as I would not either.
Correct.
That'd be very unsettling. So I looked down to see that there were no leaves on the path, not even grass on the edges. I thought nothing of it and kept driving home until I heard keys being jingled.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the helly?
What the helly?
The second I heard the keys, I got the feeling that someone was behind me and was holding the keys in their hand in that defensive spot where you put your key between your 2 fingers, so if someone sneaks up on you, you have something to fight back with. I had multiple moments like this where it was like I could feel whatever that spirit was doing or looked like. I turned around because I could still hear the keys jingling and getting closer and closer, like they were trying to either get past me or attack me. I turned around and saw no one, not even a student nearby. I turned around and continued on my way home. I started hearing the jingling again and didn't even bother to look because I knew it was a spirit that obviously had something against me because it was purposefully trying to scare me for some reason. I raced home and after that have not heard of her since. I gave her the nickname of Jeffrey's ex-girlfriend because it felt like she was jealous and had followed Jeffrey to me, hence the keys and scaring tactics. And because I gave her this name, it became that much funnier and less terrifying.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. The third spirit and only experience I've had with it. This was similar to the experience of Jeffrey's ex-girlfriend, but much more chilling. I was on my way home again and was chill since nothing spiritual or haunting had happened in a couple of months. I had just crossed the road and was heading uphill when I heard the start of a car next to me on the other side of the road and that house's garage. It was getting ready to exit. I thought, oh, okay, that's it then. I continue to drive uphill when I hear the start of a very high-pitched scream. I think, oh, it must be the car since it was very loud before when the scream got even more high-pitched. I looked at the car and it had left. Whatever I was hearing wasn't a car at the least. It got higher and I realized it was a child. I didn't know who or what, but it seemed like it was screaming for help. At the time, all I could do was bolt out of there. I could hear her screaming and it felt like it was digging into my soul with how bone-chilling it was, but all I could do was race home. I felt awful afterwards, but I realized when I got home that a dog had started barking when the screaming had started, so I knew I wasn't going crazy since I had heard that dogs can sometimes hear and see the supernatural. This experience kind of put my system into a halt since afterwards I was terrified. Then I've barely even felt a difference in temperature or just an aura in the room. I assume this is because I'm an adult now, so I've grown out of the ability to be able to actually see these spirits in their physical forms. But for the last 5 years, I've been experiencing something new. I get these wild dreams, which isn't that shocking since I'm a writer and an artist, and a lot of pain medications started since I was 12. But for the last 5 to 6 years, I get major deja vu from these dreams as well as almost psychic moments. I know it sounds a bit dramatic, and I can barely make sense of the crap I see, but it's more than just deja vu. I talked to an actual psychic, and she said it was a spirit sending me messages through my dreams to try and reach me, but I've tried to put the puzzle pieces together, but then I get another one, and then the previous ones I've had make even less sense. So I thought I'd email you girls to see if you had anything similar happening. So far, the experiences I can remember have something to do with Alzheimer's disease, the elderly, a specific piece of land in a game I've been playing, and a girl with her hair tied into buns. It's starting to drive me a little nuts, especially since 5 years ago, the spirit started doing this thing that you described in your sleep paralysis episode. I'd go to sleep on my side, as usual, then wake up in a daze a few hours later to feel someone sitting on the edge of my bed. I think, oh, it's just the cat, even though my door is always completely shut. Then I realize my door is shut. It settles in more when I hear something fall, usually a picture on the wall, and then I feel it move further onto the bed and closer to the wall. This would happen at least 2 to 4 times a month until it just randomly came to a close. I was happy that it stopped since I was bugging my support workers with waking up in the middle of the night with the feeling of a cat sitting next to me when there is no cat, and it was also making me feel even more crazy than I already am. Then, all of a sudden, it starts back up again about a month or 2 ago. Same deal where it gets onto my bed, sits, and I can feel it watching me, and it feels like a cat about to pounce. Then sometimes I hear something fall or the ceiling creaking when it moves either closer to me or closer to the wall side of the bed. Then I either fall back asleep or it just stops. I'd suggest haunted places, but I live in Western Australia, so I doubt you girls would be able to come down just to go to some haunted places. Haha.
Australia?
Don't tempt us.
Oh my God.
You know where to find me, though, if you need some inspiration. And she said, I know this was a long explanation. I probably sound more nutty than I do haunted, but thank you for reading this anyway. Love you guys and your work. Always happy to talk about anything you girls want to. Sincerely, Lauren. So I said, what you said about how things seemed to quiet down as you got older really caught my attention. It makes me wonder if part of that shift could be related to your medications, especially since you mentioned being on pain meds since you were young. I was on anxiety medications, and I know how they change how I reacted and perceive things, so I wonder if medications can sometimes dampen or close off that part of the mind that picks up on spiritual or energetic activity. It's an interesting thought. Have you ever noticed if your experiences seem stronger or more frequent when your medications change or are adjusted? That could be a curious thing to note, like to keep track of.
Yeah.
And then, and your dreams and deja vu moments, so intriguing. It really sounds like something or someone is still trying to connect with you in a different way. Maybe because that dream state lets your mind be more open. Maybe start keeping a journal by your bed and writing it all down. Sometimes writing it out helps me connect the dots. Could be a fun way to go back and forth. So she ended up messaging back and was like, I never even thought about the medications thing. And when I emailed back in response to that too, I was like, well, I mean, they say that you can be affected based off of alcohol and medications and things like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if changing certain medications or dosages or types would alter the way that you're able to perceive things.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So maybe maybe her dream state is the best way that they can get to her now because of her medications.
Yeah.
Interesting concept.
That's a good concept to think about. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, girl, you don't sound nutty. You sound interesting.
Yeah.
Like,
Lauren, I love
awesome.
you. That's
she's
crazy.
very sweet. I said, you email us anytime. Even if you just want someone to talk to, like you email me, we are here.
Period. Yeah. Somebody's trying to reach you, girl.
And I love the Jeffrey's ex-girlfriend.
That was so funny.
We're going to make this funny because it's terrifying.
I loved that. Yeah.
Because that is terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It is terrifying, but also hilarious that you did that.
Yeah, you're like, I'm going to make this happy. I'm going to make this good. I do think it's interesting that Jeffrey seemed nice, but was changing his appearance so much.
Yeah.
Because to me, the different appearances is giving like demonic. But then she's like, but he's nice. Because he looks like Hatman kind of, and then he looked like a little boy, and then he looked like a teenager. Hatman and little boy to me are like straight demon mode. So that's very interesting that she got a good aura out of him.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious to know more about that as well.
Definitely. I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah, I definitely was like,
and all the way from Australia?
Yeah, isn't that so
girl.
cool? Yeah, I liked that. I think the medications thing is very interesting to me. I would be curious to see, I'm not going to, but someone needs to start a ghost hunting channel where they get drunk and like change being drunk and medications. Someone who's willing, not me.
Yeah, not me.
To do something like that would be very interesting to see how it affects your investigation and things
I
like
agree. Yeah, that would be, I would watch that for sure.
And if you do it,
Let us
to
know.
me. Writes to me. I patented the idea.
Oh, absolutely. But I want to hear about it.
I want to know. Give me 10%. This is my idea. Okay, so number 4. There is an animal death warning right off the bat.
Thank you.
Yes. So, hi there. I saw you're covering mineral wells on your paranormal and murder podcast, and I wanted to share my story. I used to live, by the way, I took just the last 2 digits out of her address just in case, because she doesn't live there anymore. I don't want people going to this person's house and being like,
hey,
heard it's haunted. So I did take just...
Honestly, that'd be kind of cool, though.
I did just take a little bit of it out. I used to live at 21000, which 0 is not the right answer, Rock Creek Road. And from the very first night, I felt something was wrong. I was around 9 or 10 when we moved in, and I had this heavy, uneasy feeling like someone was always watching me. As I got older, the feelings only got stronger. I would get chills on the stairs and feel something watching me from my mom's closet.
Ew.
I would wake up in the middle of... Yeah, no thank you. I would wake up in the middle of the night, gasping for air, and sometimes I'd see floating orbs. When I was around 15 or 16, things really escalated. We had this old piano in the living room that I'd play occasionally. One night around 3:30 a.m., I heard random piano keys playing on their own. I was frozen in fear and definitely not going down to investigate. You will survive a horror movie.
Amen.
Do not go down and investigate.
Please.
The next morning, I told my parents, and they brushed it off, saying the kittens probably got behind it. I still remember getting ready for school that day, just feeling off. That evening, when we got home, we found one of the kittens dead. No visible trauma and not sick, just perfectly laid out on the stair landing. That's when my mom started to believe me. After that, strange things kept happening. Items would go missing like iPads and canned food and then show up in weird places. We eventually had the house blessed by a pastor. During the blessings, the lights flickered, especially in the left hallway bedroom.
Ooh.
We later had people from TAPS come to investigate. They picked up an audio recording of a man's voice saying, "Get the F out."
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chills.
That was the breaking point. We listed the house for sale, and immediately the activity ramped up. Loud footsteps like someone in steel-toe boots walking upstairs, doors slamming shut right in front of us. That house was the scariest place I've ever lived. I'm honestly just relieved that the new owners knew about the activity and were actually excited about it.
Oh.
Thank you for giving locals a space to share their experience. Ashley.
Oh, Ashley.
So
first of all, I'm going to cry. That's the sweetest thing ever.
That happened in Mineral Wells.
That's crazy.
So cool.
Yeah.
I mean, scary, but so freaking cool. But it also reminds me of the story from Honey whenever we were moving out of the house. And
Yes.
he said that it was just
It
like
got
rattling.
worse.
It was way worse
Ooh.
whenever he was trying to leave.
Ooh.
I can
lots
see
of
your chills.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, because whenever we've mentioned this house 1,000 times, but if you're new and haven't listened to any of those episodes, we lived in a haunted house where we were terrified to go upstairs. And eventually we moved into a room. We had our own living room upstairs, our own bathrooms. Like, it was a very nice space upstairs. We moved our happy asses downstairs into the guest bedroom and shared
there.
it.
Yep.
Because we were like, we hated upstairs so much. And we would hear stuff. Like, I remember one night we had gone to sleep. We were asleep. And we both woke up and looked at each other because we could hear stuff going up the stairs. And then there was like scratching in the corner of the room. And we just laid there.
It still
like
makes
looking
me sick
at
to my
each other.
stomach.
Yeah.
We didn't even say a word.
Nope. We just looked at each other, like acknowledged it, and eventually fell back asleep. But we were like,
yeah,
sick.
But
But then our dad told us, like, whenever he was, because we didn't live there full time. We were there on like Wednesdays and every other weekend. And he told us that whenever he was moving out, that everything got way worse. Like, he said that like the stairs, because the stairs were, we've mentioned, like I said, 1,000 times, but they were like the metal railing stairs. So you could hit it and you could hear it like
rattle
all the way down. And he said it sounded like someone was just sitting there, like the grudge, like their face between the rails, just shaking them. Yeah, so that's what that reminded me of.
Yes, that's spooky.
Getting pissed off. Like, you can't leave here.
Where
Because it
you
sounds
think
like
you're
they
going?
lived there for quite a while, from like 9 to 10 to 15, 16. So they probably had like a small attachment to this family.
Yeah.
And like, we only lived at the haunted house for a few years too. But our dad like swears it's this was a little girl who like got attached to him, because it was him alone at that house for the most part.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
So
that's a great story, Ashley.
I love it.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I would love to hear more. That sounds terrifying.
Oh my God.
Wouldn't work for me. I would cry. I would stay at a friend's house.
I'm glad they moved out.
Yes, they listened.
You know, they listened. Yes. That's like straight up paranormal movie shit.
Yeah. I like that they listened. They were like, you know what?
We out.
This started to happen and we left before it could get worse. Because there's a lot of people who are like, sorry, we're stuck. Which there is a lot of people who get stuck. Rent costs,
some
money,
people can't
financial.
just move.
I'd be not living at home. I remember my first house I ever lived in on my own was such a scary house that I would literally make my mom come stay with me, or I would go stay at my mom's. Aaron was like, we're literally paying for rent. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, you stay at this house alone. And he didn't tell me until after we moved out of that house that he was like, yeah, the master bedroom gave me some like weird vibes. And I was like,
thanks.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
So story number 5. Hi there. My name is Kristin. I'm from South Carolina. Savannah is only 3 hours away from where I live. So we frequent Savannah as it's an awesome place to visit and super easy travel day. This particular weekend, we planned a girls' trip from Friday to Sunday. My best friend and I decided to go a day early as my ex had just broken up with me and she was going through it too. So we figured, womp womp.
What a good way to bring up the mood, dude. To go to Savannah? Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. And a friend that you can just call up and be like, hey girl, let's go.
Yeah.
We ain't doing this today. I love that.
Me too.
So she said, we figured an extra night out could be the cure.
Amen.
We stayed at the River Street Inn, which is actually a really cool hotel. However, it's incredibly old and rumored to be extremely haunted. I did not know that until after this trip. We went out and had a great time, and it was around 1:30 a.m. when we got back to our room, which she didn't say this. This is me and Shae. We only were in Savannah. We didn't stay out in Savannah at night. We did like a ghost tour and it ended at night. And we went by a place, like that whole area where we were like, oh my God, it is popping.
Oh, yes.
Like bar scene at a certain part. We were like, holy
what?
shit. Yeah, they were getting it. So that might have been fun.
Probably was.
Probably could have been a good time. So she stayed out till 1:30 in the morning. She said, when we got back, my friend instantly fell asleep, but I couldn't because it was so loud. I just assumed it was the hustle and bustle of River Street, which is what road we were on.
Yep.
I do believe. Then it started. It sounded like laughter and a crowd at first. Then it turned into screaming and what sounded like someone dragging furniture.
Oh.
It didn't sound like it was coming from above us. It sounded like it was happening all around us. I rushed to the window to see if River Street was still lively, but the street was completely empty with no one in sight. This went on until exactly 4 a.m. As soon as the clock struck 4, everything went completely silent. Fast forward to Saturday, the group booked a ghost tour of Savannah. The two hosts were lovely. They started talking about River Street Inn and how haunted it was. I told them about our experience, and the woman looked at me with huge eyes and said, we were there Thursday night communicating with the spirits in the room right next to yours.
Oh,
the hotel told us no one was staying in your room that night. Apparently our 2 rooms are the most haunted, so yeah, if you want a creepy time, go stay at the River Street Inn, especially the old wing on the 3rd floor. Please let me know if you need anything from me. You can use my name. Have a great day, Kristin.
Kristin!
Girl!
You got the VIP treatment.
Yeah, you got everything.
Woo!
Yeah.
I love that for you.
I don't know what I would do if I was hearing all this noise and rationing with myself, that it's like the vibes. And then you look outside and there is no vibes. Don't really know what I would do.
Scary.
Cry? I'd probably go under my blanket and just lay there.
Yeah, we're hiding.
As long as I don't move, nothing can see me.
We're hiding. I can't see me. You can't see you.
Yeah. What?
I don't know.
I agree.
Yes.
So this story is from one of my really good friends.
Ooh.
She sends 2 stories, and she made me cry when I read one of them. I was like, oh, girl. Because she's never told me these.
Oh.
She sent them to me just for the podcast, and I'm like, I didn't know any of this.
Oh my God, let's go.
Okay, so number 6. Story is number 6, but this is her story number 1. Back in 2022, I was in the burn unit, literally fighting for my life. So she's the one that I told you has SJS.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
So this was when she was in the hospital for that. So I was in a medically induced coma for the first 3 days, and everyone assumed I was just living in a black void, I guess. But that wasn't the case. I was wandering the hospitals that I've never been to, and I was seeing people who had long passed. So she previously, before all of this happened, was working like in a hospital. I don't know exactly what she was doing. But her mom also works in hospitals. So she has been in hospitals a lot. Like she's used to the medical industry, I'd say. But she had never been to this hospital specifically. She lives between like Kansas, Oklahoma. Like she like travels a lot. And during all of this, she was going to like multiple different.
Yeah.
So I was wandering the hospital that I've never been to, and I was seeing people who had long passed. One of these people was an older female nurse, and she was leading me around the unit and the campus. On one of our visits, she led me back to an elevator, and we went down to the basement where the morgue was. She told me how it was a new addition to their wing because they had so many people passing away in our building on the campus. She said it made people uncomfortable for them to take the bodies to the main wing where a smaller morgue sat. Here's the thing. The elevator wasn't in the modern day building anymore. In fact, where the elevator had been was currently my room. When I woke up from the coma, I was telling them to move me because so many people were coming in and out of the elevator waking me up. It seems that even when I wasn't roaming the hospital, I was still having ghosts use my room as the entrance to the old elevator. Everybody assumed I was crazy until I had gone back for the follow-up appointments and told the nurses what I had experienced. One nurse told me that she had started in pediatrics, which was in the same wing, and she remembered that they had removed the service elevator because they had no use for the morgue on that side of the basement anymore. They were able to access the other departments much easier through the new addition to the wing that had been added 25 years prior. So it appeared that the blueprint theory holds some water.
Ooh.
Isn't that
That's
weird?
wild.
She's in a coma and like she doesn't really remember. I guess she kind of remembers that part, but not really. But telling people that you need to move me because people are using the elevator.
Yeah. Hello.
And getting walked around like she like time traveled.
Yeah. She was just walking through the plane, man.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So cool. Because you do always wonder, you have people like, you want to know when you're in a coma, are you hearing me talk to you? Like they always say that, you know, like I can hear you talk to him.
And we really don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. She gives you some like insight to that.
I always tell people that they can hear you.
Yeah. It's probably more comforting anyway.
Yeah.
And sometimes it seems though is like she kind of remembers parts of it. So,
and there's you hear stuff all the time that people are like, well, I could hear this while I was in surgery, or while I was intubated, I could hear this or whatever. And it's like, well, were you actually hearing that, or was that just, you know, your mind, or we don't know. Yeah. It's not really studied. Like we truly don't know. We just have to take people's word for it. But I believe that
Yeah. Very interesting. So her second story, this is the one that made me kind of like, because it has to do with her pops, and she was very, 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 very close with him. Mm-hmm. Like every year she posts on his birthday and everything like that. And so this one I was like, oh my God, I didn't know this. So story number 2. This also happened in 2022 in the burn unit during my 3-day coma. I was still unaware of what was going on with my own body. I knew I was in a burn unit, but I wasn't sure why, nor the extent of my disease, because she didn't. She was messaging me like, I think she messaged me right after she got out of a coma or right before, and was like, hey, I'm going to the hospital for this. Mm-hmm. She didn't know it was wrong, but she basically was like, her body was like burning from the inside out, like boiling from the inside out. That's what this disease is. And it's normally a reaction to antibiotics, I do believe. That's what caused hers, was a reaction to antibiotics.
It can be any kind of medication,
but that's what caused hers. And so she didn't really know what was going on until after. And even after, it was like, am I going to heal from this? Am I not? Because you can't really take medicine now at this point. Mm-hmm. So yeah. But anyways.
It's a crazy diagnosis. I mean, really, it's rare. I
wore my shirt. I have a shirt that is like, I think it says like, my best friend is an SJS survivor or something. Her mom made it for me and sent it to me.
That's cute.
I should have worn it. Sorry, Remy. But she said, I knew I was in a burn unit, but I wasn't sure why, nor the extent of my disease. It turns out my deceased grandpa, Pops, did. He came to me when I was sitting in a weird room. This weird room appears in a story I'll submit with details later. And he could tell I was upset. By the count of my normal life, I was on my last day of the coma, but I didn't know that in my current state. They were starting to wean me off the meds to wake me up, and I think I was finally having my well-deserved meltdown. Pop sat with me and talked to me about how proud he was of me, and I should know that my mom had been with me this whole time keeping vigil. I told him I didn't think that I could handle any of what I was about to face for the rest of my life. That's how long this disease lasts me, forever. At 25 years old, forever is a long, long time. I told him I wanted to stay with him. I missed him. I loved him. And I just wanted him here. I didn't want to do this without him. He convinced me that I could get through it, and I would get through it, and I'd be better off for it. I told him that my fiance wouldn't want to get married to me anymore. I'd lose my job, and I'd be miserable forever. He calmed my fears, sang me Soft Kitty from The Big Bang Theory that had always been her thing when we were sick, and let me rest. When I woke up, I was actually awake in the living world, and wouldn't you know it, Pops was right. Everything turned out okay. I'm like, that makes my eyes water.
I know, that makes my eyes watery too.
And then she said, Landrey was there 3 months after my hospitalization to see me get married. It's also the first time we ever met in person on my wedding day. Aww. And I didn't kill her like her mom was worried about.
That is the sweetest thing in the whole world.
We actually met through a paranormal podcast Facebook group.
Yes, you've told me that.
Became really good friends because we had a lot like, our life was just very similar, like between like marriages and siblings and just all the things. But I remember she was supposed to get married and have like this big grand wedding. And then all of this happened and she was like, we'll just do this later, but we're going to get married in Texas. And I was like, okay, I'm coming.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be in Texas? Are you kidding?
Yeah, of course.
It was her family and I was the only friend there. And it was the first day I ever met her. I did her hair for her wedding.
Oh.
It was really cool. It was a really cool experience. I haven't seen her since. That was the only time we've ever seen each other in person.
Yeah.
But we very randomly like just get into conversation again. We'll talk for a couple months and then kind of get out. Life is just
life's
busy
life.
And her life is very busy. She was kind of starting to have issues again recently because she had strep and needed to take medicine.
Oh, bless her heart.
It was a whole thing and like couldn't. So she actually, I think, got her tonsils removed.
Oh, good.
I told her because Murphy was like, well, Nash got his out and you get these suckers. It's lidocaine suckers. So you don't really have to do much and it takes the
helps.
And I think she did get them and everything. But yeah, I didn't know that her pops did all that. And I'm like,
that's so cool. What a cool experience that she had.
Yeah.
Oh, Remy, you're a badass.
She really is. And I tell her that all the time. I'm like, you're amazing. Like, I could never do it.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, she's really, and she's so sweet. She's just like the sweetest, kindest person ever.
Remy, we love you.
And she did get married. Her fiance did not. His name's Tyler. He's really awesome. He's the one that was
didn't leave her.
Yeah, he didn't leave her. Great. But no, he's the one that walked by one day and was like, that looks like Landrey. And she's like, because it is. When he saw us on like the podcast. But he's a police officer and everything. He's really cool too. He's really nice. And she's the one that was like, I'm listening to the Final Destination episode while my husband's outside cutting down trees and has no idea what he's doing.
Yes.
That's her too.
God bless it.
Yeah. But yeah.
What a cool story.
I know. I think it's really cool that she was able to have that like moment with him.
Oh my God. That was probably life-changing for her.
Yeah. Because they were very, very close before he passed away. And I think he passed away almost right before all of this happened to her, like 2020, 2021, I do believe. But they were very close. And so it was really cool that she got the comfort from like the person that like, I wouldn't say she needed most, but like she really needed.
Yeah.
Because her and her mom are very close too. And her like Nana and her Nana. And she's close with her Nana's dog.
Nana's dog.
Yeah. But, and she's mainly close with all her siblings, but she really like needed.
Oh, for sure.
From him, I think.
That's so special. A bond between a grandfather and a granddaughter is.
It's crazy.
Unmatched.
Yeah. I don't know. That's so cool.
That is so cool. Wow. Thank you, Remy.
I know.
For sharing that special moment with us.
She sent that to me so long ago and I've been saving it to read it. And then when I read it, I was at my desk and I was like blubbering. I was like, oh my God, I had no idea this happened.
Oh my God.
Like the first story, okay, that's scary. Oh my gosh. But the second one with her pops, I was like, girl.
Warn a girl next time.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Damn.
My eyes water again. You could hear me. I got a little choked up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, if y'all have y'all's own stories and just anything, like you can literally just email us to talk to us. Like we just like to talk.
I love it.
We love yapping.
I love the stories.
Yes.
You can go on Google and like look for a ghost story. And to me, it doesn't have the same effect as like having it sent to you from a real person.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sure. They may be real people on Google, but you don't know that.
Yeah. It's just not the same as like direct communication.
Yeah.
And we love to talk. Like I like talking to people. I think it's I like talking to people through screens and this.
Yeah.
In person, I'm like, I can do it, but my social battery cuts out.
Mm-hmm.
But this is so much fun to me, reading y'all's stories and being able to answer and give our thoughts back and just opening a new side of things for us. Like answering questions about a coma. That's super interesting to hear.
Yeah.
That was interesting. Not even just the ghost story part of it too, but just answering that.
Yeah.
And then all the different ideas on what a mimic could be or what, like hearing your theories as well. I love that. I think it's so cool. And it opens up my brain because, you know, whenever you think of something so long, you're like, it's
you
probably
only have the same thought.
Yeah. So it's super, super cool. So if you have your own stories that you want us to read, send them to sistersofthestrange@gmail.com, or I will be opening up a website soon. You can go onto there. It's not as easy if you send it to us on Instagram or TikTok, mainly because if we haven't, like, we check our messages, but not like that's not in our general as much. I don't as much. So I might not see it. I don't know if you check the not general part, because if you're not friends with us, then it goes to a different box. Yeah. Like there was one day one of Shae's friends slid up on one of our stories, or I don't know if it's your friend, but you work with them. The one I sent you.
Coworker, yeah.
And I thought it was someone being mean to Shae, and I was about to just delete it so it shows she didn't read it and like get mad or hurt her feelings. And I was about to delete it, and then I like went through his profile and it said that he worked with her and stuff like that. But I screenshotted it to her, and I was like, I almost just. And she was like, LOL.
That's Matt. He's a bully.
Yeah, because I almost was like, rude, and like deleted it because that was mean, I guess. But it wasn't. He was just being sarcastic and messing with her. But I had no idea who he was until I did my research, which thankfully I did my research. But
that's so funny.
But yeah, we don't check that part as much. So I think email is
definitely the best.
So send us your stories and share your theories. Like I said in our last episode, we have a Discord now. It is in all of our, it's in our link tree. So it's in our bios and everything like that. So you can go over to our Discord, and there's multiple channels. So within our channel, you can submit your own stories, which I don't know how easy those are to read. And if you submit them and other people join the Discord, they can go ahead and read them as well, which doesn't mean we couldn't read them on the podcast still too. But other people will see them before they get read here. If that's, okay with you, then post them
By
there.
all means.
But there's also a spot for theories. There's a spot for recommendations. There's a spot where you can just talk to us. And then just kind of a welcome thing where we put the rules in there. So if you're not listening to rules, we kick you out.
You get the boot.
I'm like, we kick you out or take your comment down so that everyone is nice, because it's supposed to be a source of community and fun and friendliness, not mean.
Where we all hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Yeah. Sing around the campfire. That song, I went to Ella's cheer thing the other day and they were singing the campfire song, the SpongeBob one.
Campfire song.
And I was going with it. And Nash was like, and then another song would come on and he said, Aunt Lynn, you just know every song. And I was like, well-versed in music, my guy.
Don't even know.
Yeah.
You don't even know, child.
Ain't got nothing.
Got nothing on me.
But yeah, send us your stories.
That
Go
was so
like,
fun.
Follow, subscribe. I really like doing listener episodes. I would love to get more stories to share because I think it's very interesting.
Yes, please.
But
I'm sweaty.
I would say my armpits are sweating down to here. I scratched and I was like, oh my God.
Oh my God. I know. I'm trying to like not sweat in your pajama top.
It's okay. I'm going to go home and wash them anyways.
Perfect.
I'm surprised I even put this on since it hasn't been washed yet because I normally don't do that. I'm normally very...
We needed the vibes.
Yeah, I needed the vibes. I bought them for a reason, but I am normally very weird about washing everything before you wash them. Washing everything first. So, okay. We'll see you next week.
I think that's it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.